Hello everybody, my name is Michael, and in today's video I'm going to be doing another watercolor landscape painting. So for this video I don't have a lot planned for it. This is a lot of just coming up with things on the fly, although one thing I did want to try out with this video that I haven't actually done before is put some tape around the edge of my painting here and sort of have it nicely sectioned off so I can pull the tape off to, you know, make it nice and even. So I've got this nice lovely, well, hopefully lovely border around the edge, and I have this painting all nice and contained. I haven't actually done that before. I've just always painted in landscape especially, or just paintings and drawings in general without a border. So this is new to me, so I was hoping that I'm not going to get any soakage through the paper that's going to bleed in underneath the tape. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work. I brought some masking tape for that, and as I found out the tape itself, I'm going to be a little bit careful with masking tape. It has just a little bit too much grip. I thought masking tape is pretty simple and easy, and it wouldn't be a problem, and I would easily be able to pull it off. But I think with using a lot of paint on there and water and stuff, it sort of just gripped onto that paper a little bit too much. So I would recommend probably using maybe like a painter's tape, or I might need to go out and try a few tapes, or just being super careful when painting with it, when you're peeling it off, that you peel it off nice and carefully, because I accidentally ripped just a slight bit of the paper. You probably won't notice it on camera or anything when I take the pictures in the end, but I just tore up just a couple of little strands of the paper, and I didn't want to get it too crazy. So one thing to be careful if you do end up by using tape on your paintings here. But now let's talk about the painting itself I'm doing. So what I'm doing is doing the background. I want to do it as a nice sunny sky. Sort of while I was doing this background here and placing in these clouds, I'm still trying to get used to doing a lot of the softer sort of style clouds, trying to make them look a little bit more realistic, as I decided I want to have a little bit of a water scene here. I want to have basically like looking at a lake or like a ocean, but I think I'm going to go with more of a lake for this painting in particular, as I want to have two land masses in this painting. So one that's further off in the distance, and I want to have that one with a lot of big luscious trees far in the background, and in the foreground I'm going to have sort of like a rocky or stony bed, or, you know, riverbank edge sort of thing, and a couple of big trees in the piece. I'm not going to go with big massive trees. I'm going to go with really tall skinny trees in here. I haven't done tall skinny trees before. As well as that too, I also want to put some foliage on the trees. Putting foliage on the trees is something I haven't really done too often and not very well practiced at. So I just want to do a lot of exploring my, or I should say not really exploring, but expanding my painting degree here by adding in some things that I haven't really done too much before. You know, I'm still new to painting in watercolor landscapes, so hopefully build up a bit more confidence trying out new things into the piece. So coming in here and just like I said before, I had no real plan coming into this, so I don't know how I would say to plan this out. You know, you get a little bit more information from just watching me as I am painting in here, because I was just sort of going with the flow, rather than, I didn't have any like picture next to me, which probably would have been a little bit more helpful. I suppose I was just going with some feelings. I did have a quick look online at a few things. That was what gave me sort of the inspiration. I wanted to have the two little land masses with some water, and it was as far as I went for like looking up a picture. Otherwise, it's basically from sort of my imagination here. So I don't know how to describe it. Probably better off actually looking up some actual pictures so you can get some really nice detail in here. But I also do want to expand my imagination. You know, can I draw a decent enough scene from imagination without going too crazy with it? So I was just sort of picking out an area here as you can see, for where I wanted all my water to be, and just making the water slightly off. No, I shouldn't say off, I should say darker color than my sky is really going to help separate it out, so you can clearly see where the sky and our water begins. One thing I've definitely learned here is maybe I should let an area dry when I'm going to get that horizon line in my drawing. I've sort of decided to just cut the drawing, I should say painting. I'm so sorry, I'm so used to doing a lot of drawings that I'm new to painting, so calling everything painting is going to be one of those things that I got to get used to a lot when going back and forth between paintings. I've always done drawings all my life, just with, like, you know, paper and pencil, and doing watercolors like this where you're actually painting is still new to me, and getting used to calling myself a painter as well as doing drawings and stuff like that. Take me a little bit of time to get used to, but as you can see, one thing I did actually want to do in this painting that I have here is put just a little bit of shadow into the water of a big landmass in the background. One thing I haven't done, because I'm still new to this, in some of my past landscape watercolor works that you see on my channel here, is that I haven't always done any reflections in the water. I'm still new to this, and that's one sort of beginner mistake on my part in terms of what to look out for and making a painting look a lot more realistic, is adding in things like reflections in the water and adding in the shadows from the right direction and stuff like that. So that's one thing I definitely have to keep an eye out for, and hopefully I will pick this up as I'm going along. But I'm just gonna let a little bit of the video play out now and sort of just display what's on here, and I'll come back and talk when I feel it's appropriate to talk in some of these bits to tell you what's sort of going through my head and stuff like that. So now this is the part where I decided I wanted to put in these big skinny trees in the piece that I was talking about earlier. Now, I haven't really done it this way before. I was looking at a couple of videos online of how people draw realistic trees with, I should say paint, sorry, I gotta get used to that, painting more realistic trees that have foliage and leaves and stuff on them, as I've only done basically just dead trees, unless there are, you know, trees in the background where I've only got to draw a shape, but drawing them with that, like, the individual leaves and foliage on it, I needed to look at. And what a lot of people did was they painted in the foliage first before painting in the branches. So that this was entirely new to me. I didn't know how far to do these branches out of the foliage. I didn't know how high to go. This was all just sort of random chance and trying to make it look right and having a little bit of a vision in my head of how I want to do them. So I wanted to make them nice, tall, skinny trees, so I decided to go with just a bunch of foliage in here and place these trees. But I tell you what, definitely as a beginner background, I should say landscape, sorry, not background, landscape painting here, and still very new to this, is being scared to do things like this where I was quite happy with the painting before I placed these trees in, and then coming in like super boldly in here and just praying that these trees come out and look alright is quite scary to me by adding these on, because you can't really undo it, so you've just got to be really bold with your painting. But that is exactly why I'm trying to learn this style of painting, is to get out of my comfort zone, learn new techniques, and be bolder with my artistic journey and stepping outside of my comfort zone. And I think I was pretty happy with actually how the entire piece came out. With one thing I've got to learn to is to trust myself. It seems super scary, especially when I put in these, and especially when I was putting in the trunks of these skinny trees in here. I was getting really scared of, am I going to make them look too wobbly? Are they not going to be thick enough? Am I going to have to sort of abandon the thin trees and try and make it one big massive trunk, and then it would look really ugly? So really scared with what I was doing here, but I was really happy with how they seemed to work out in the end, and really painting. So one thing too I also learned while painting up trees and watching people paint them with the foliage on, is to try and carefully plan out sort of how you want some of your branches off your tree to be, some of them to be fully in view and then some of them to be in the background. So you just got to try and make up a rough area of where you want each part of the branches to connect to some parts of the foliage to make them look organic and natural, and it looks like these leaves are coming from the branches. So that was a cool, fun technique that I hadn't thought about before when painting them up, and I was glad I was watching a sort of like a tree painting tutorial to get this in, as this is my artwork here. So I believe with this and painting in these trees here, just coming with a few shadows and learning that I've got to put in some shadows and grasses into these areas to just flesh them out a little bit. I believe the painting is done, so now we'll go into some glamour shots in the end and we can see how the entire thing came out.